Hello and welcome to my show, Let the Good Vibes Roll. I'm your host, Jay Jovial. For all of you out there who like the idea of volunteering, but you're just not sure if it's for you, don't change the channel, because joining me today is longtime altruistic activist, Valen Tier. Now, Valen, minus your glorious role in there, how are you doing today?
Hi, Jay. I am just pleased as punch to be here and to share with your audience how they can tailor a volunteering experience to their own availability and interaction preference.
Sounds like a pretty hefty order. Do you think you're up for such a big job?
Oh, there are few jobs that are too big for me, Jay, if you know what I mean.
I sure do. Well, now that we've gotten these pleasantries out of the way, why don't we get down into it?
Sounds great to me.
Great. Well, to start off, where all have you volunteered?
I've mostly volunteered at different shelters, but I'm always up for one-off events like Rake Up Boise or assembling food packs at a local food bank.
So you do all this locally?
I sure do. Most cities offer a ton of opportunities that can fit your interests, commitment levels, as well as social needs.
But I thought that volunteering was kind of all the same thing.
You wouldn't be alone, Jay. But the truth is that volunteering is extremely diverse. As long as you're willing to look for opportunities that match your personality, the better and more fulfilling of an experience you'll have. Each opportunity offers a different level of involvement and interaction, but one thing that never changes is the feeling of contentment afterwards.
Well, I know, for me, I would love to know more about the commitment, because not everyone has the most time in the world.
If that's not the truth. Idaho Humane Society is a good example of low commitment. They require you to complete a couple of trainings before you begin working with the animals, but past that, you're only required to volunteer once a year to maintain that certification. When and how often you come in is completely up to you.
That seems awfully flexible. Is it always like that?
Not always. Another example is the City of Light, a local women and children shelter. They don't have mandatory trainings, however, they do require that you have a set schedule for volunteering. Every time you come in needs to be scheduled in advance, and some positions require that you volunteer 1 hour per week with a year-long commitment.
Wow, a whole year?
A whole year. But City of Light has a lot of interaction with the residents and fellow volunteers. If you're looking for face-to-face communication, this might be the place for you. You participate within a community, and whether it's working at the front desk or serving dinner, you are constantly engaging and joking with one another. By the end, there's a feeling of camaraderie and appreciation for those around you.
That sounds wonderful, but what if constant socializing isn't your thing?
It's not always my thing either. At times when I'm looking for a little more solitude, I like to go to Idaho Humane Society. The shelter can be hectic, with staff trying to stay prepared while also assisting prospective adopters. And while everyone is always happy to point you in the right direction, most of the work is pretty solitary, except for those little critters. To be honest, a lot of tasks are sort of like household chores, but knowing that ultimately you're helping make a scared and disoriented animal just a little more comfortable is incredibly rewarding.
Now, doesn't that just tug at the heartstrings? So earlier, you mentioned one-off events. Can you tell us a little more about those?
Absolutely. The great thing about these kind of events is they're pretty low commitment, and you can do them with a group of friends. They can be seasonal or throughout the year, but are always scheduled in advance, and it usually lasts just a couple of hours. If you want to spend time with friends, really just participating in a wonderful environment, this is the place to do it. Not only do you get to spend your day with friends and family, you walk away with an impactful experience.
Truly amazing. Now, is there any way for our viewers to get involved?
Well, I am so glad you asked me that, Jay. There is actually a wonderful website called Volunteer Match that allows you to narrow your focus to specific interests, availability, as well as social aspects. There are even options that allow you to volunteer from the comfort of your own home.
What?
I know, kind of cool. All the postings give a synopsis of the opportunities and specify the commitments so you know what you're getting into as well.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Valen, thank you again so much for coming in today.
Always a pleasure, Jay.
And folks, that wraps up today's episode. And remember, keep the good vibes rolling. Don't change the channel, because joining me today is longtime autistic activist Valen Tier. And don't change the channel, because joining me today is longtime altruistic activist Valen Tier. Don't change the channel, because joining me today is longtime altruistic activist Volunteer. Valen? Valen? And don't change the channel, because joining me today is longtime altruistic activist Volunteer. Oh, hi, Sam.